You're welcome to Beautygold's apparel. Please like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. So on this tutorial, we'll learn how to draft a princess that's bustier. So to start with, you need to fold your fabric into two. So I'm doing there. So I've done there. Then I mark the chest line. The bust line. So the bust line for this my client is 12 inches, and that's what I've marked there. 12 inches. So I mark a straight line across, and then her under bust is 15 inches. So you can see how fat the person is. So the size of the person determines how you're going to draft it. So that's the 15 inches for the under bust, and then I went ahead to measure the waistline. I think I marked 18 inches there. Yes, 18 inches. Then I measured this also. I measured it across. So this is actually freehand drafting because I'm not making use of any pattern paper. So I do this most times when drafting, but on few instances I use brown paper. So feel free to try this on brown paper first before taking it on the fabric. So I went ahead to measure the shoulder. Shoulder is 18 divided by 2, that's 9. Then that's what I marked there, and I came down by 1 inch, that point there. So I just marked it there, and then the width of the neck I use is 3.5 inches, which is the bust span. That's rather the bust circumference divided by 12. So that's what I use there, and then I just connected a straight line from that shoulder to the bust line, and then I divided the bust circumference by 6 and I added 1.5 to it. So what I got, that was the length of the armhole, and then I divided the armhole length by 2, and I came in by ½ inch at the midpoint there, so you can see. So this was all I did, and then the bust point, because I'm drafting directly on the fabric, so all the allowances I will need, I'll just be adding it directly. So our bust span actually is 7, but plus this, because I'm drafting directly on fabric, I'm not on pattern paper, so I just added the ½ inch allowance, making it 4 inches. So by the time you finish joining this, you see that it will become 3.5 inches, which is 7 inches. So I just marked it the 4 inches down from the bust line to the waistline. Oh, my hand is blocking this part, sorry for that. Oh, I didn't even notice it when I was drafting, sorry for that inconvenience, but I'll do it to explain. Okay, so from the under bust there, I marked 1 inch on both sides, and those are those two straight lines you are seeing there, and then I connected it, and then I went up by 1 inch, I think, yes, 1 inch from the under bust line. So that was what I marked with those two straight lines. I'm trying to make it to create kind of an arrow there, as you can see me doing there. And then on the under bust line, I marked from where I already marked 1 inch, from that line there I just marked 1.5 inch, and I connected it to the line there above the under bust line. So those lines I'm cancelling out, we're going to cut them out, we don't need them again. Then this is the bust line. I marked 1 inch on both sides, and I connected that part there to the bust line, so you can see me doing. Then the mid armhole there, that's why we came in by ½ inch. I connected it to that, to the bust, line, as you can see me doing. So it's actually very easy. Then on this part I marked 1 inch on both sides, which is this mid armhole point. I marked ½ inch on both sides. This to contour it, to give it kind of fitting, and then I connected it back to the bust line. So this is 8. Remember I said that this is used to contour it so that it will not be too big or too tight or whatever. It's just going to have the perfect fitting on the client's body. Then remember that we marked 2 inches there, 1 inch left, 1 inch right. So that 2 inches will take it out. I'm sorry, it's actually ½ inch on both sides, which is 1 inch. So that 1 inch, you use it to extend it and then connect it back to the armhole. Then on this other side, you can see I'm trying to divide my client's busts. Our bust is 42 divided by 2, which is 21, divided by 2, which is 10.5. I still know my small, which is 10.5. So this 10.5, I'm going to mark it there first, plus those inches there for the darts, then plus 2 inches allowance again. And then for the under bust line, you also do the same thing. The dart there is about 2 inches. You have it in mind. Then the under bust, the person's under bust is 40. 40 divided by 2 give us 20. This is actually an easy way to get calculations if you cannot get hold of your calculator at that moment. Just fold your tape like this, you get the correct measurement. So you mark the 10 inches there first, and then you measure your dart. How many inches? 2 inches plus this one, which is making it 3 inches. Then you mark the 3 inches first. Then you add necessary allowance. That does not have to need to have too many allowance. So exactly what I use for the top measurement, that what I also use for this waist measurement. So it varies from person to person. The reason why I use it because the person has a big tummy, so we need to make it big enough to accommodate the person's tummy. So that's why you not just bother drafting that part all over again. So if you have a flat tummy, or for your clients, it's good for you to still be sure of the waist measurement there to add necessary allowance. So this is how I just cut through. Just watch closely as I cut through. If there's anything here you don't understand, then pause, rewind it, and then try to watch again to avoid stories that touch. Don't say I did not tell you. want to create the neckline. It's kind of square like, but asymmetric, as in it's not the normal square neck or round neck we have, so it has kind of structure. So the first thing you do is you fold it like you saw me do, and then you fold it, and then you mark where you want the neck to start from. You mark where you want the neck to start from. That is the width of the neck, and then you open it like this, and then you mark the depth. That is how deep you want it to be. So you see that where I want the neck to be, I marked it on both sides, not just one side. It was on both sides. So I just marked that line there to indicate the center point. So this line here is the center point, and then from that center point I'm connecting it back up to that first line I created there. And then this other part here, I came down from the other side by about 1 inch, so that we kind of side square. That is what I'm trying to create here. Yes, kind of a side square. I said it's already coming to life, and then I cut. So it's actually very easy. It's not hard at all. So this is it. You can see it looks now. It looks well finished. So this is also for the neck, basically the front. It's very easy. You can see